Kasyusha, the beautiful bride, was admired by everyone. She was indeed beautiful in her white, cloud-like dress. Her blonde curls emphasized the tenderness of her face, and a happy smile never left her pink lips. Today she would become Oleg's wife. Her dream would finally come true. She had been in love with him since high school. Oleg, a joker and merry fellow, easily won a girl's heart. And there wasn't a girl at school who didn't dream of him. Kasyusha was no exception. Strangely enough, no one cared that Oleg was born into a poor, large family, as if no one noticed. Maybe because the boy himself was never ashamed of his poverty. He knew how to be friends with different kids, and never humiliated himself, and had a sense of dignity, which invariably aroused respect from everyone who communicated with him. Kasyusha's family was not rich either, and yet her parents had it easier because she was their only daughter. And if Oleg's family was supported only by his father, Kasyusha's father and mother worked. They tried to give their girl everything she needed, and now they took upon themselves all wedding problems, realizing that it would not be easy for the groom to cope with all this himself. And though Kasyusha's parents weren't thrilled with their daughter's choice, they didn't argue. Her happiness was the most important thing for them. Kasyusha smiled at her parents and guests and headed for the car. She and Oleg agreed to meet at the door of the registry office. Kasyusha's girlfriend, Tanya, helped the bride into the car, carefully adjusted her wedding dress, and closed the door. But she just stepped to the front passenger seat when suddenly the car abruptly moved. Tanya was confused and at first did not understand what was happening. And then, suddenly, she shouted in a voice not her own, addressing the guests. "Stolen! The bride was stolen!" At first, everyone took it as a joke, but then the biggest commotion broke out. Everyone was shouting and fussing, and they didn't immediately think to send a chase after the kidnappers. Kasyusha's father grabbed his head and her mother felt sick. And instead of looking for his daughter, Igor was forced to stay with his wife. Kasyusha was surprised at first too, because there was nothing in the wedding script. Moreover, the time of the registration was approaching, and she could be late for it. "Who are you?" she exclaimed, turning to the driver, whom she had seen for the first time in her life. "My name is Artem," he answered, "but doesn't that mean anything to you?" "I do not understand, Artem. What is going on?" "It's simple. I stole you." Kasyusha gasped in surprise. She did not even find something to say. But then she gathered her thoughts and hotly spoke. "Why did you do it? I have a fiancé, right, Artem? I'm sure you have me confused with someone else. Stop the car now or take me to the registry office. Let me at least call." Kasyusha switched to shouting. But Artem, as if he did not hear her. "What is it?" Kasyusha got nervous and tried to open the door, but it was blocked. The unfortunate bride thought of stories about maniacs, and she was frightfully silent, wondering what she should do now. They drove in silence for a while. Finally, Artem turned onto a country road, and soon they came to a small house, covered with thickets of wild grapes. "What is there?" she asked. "This is where I live, and I want you to live too." "Well, what is it?" the girl cried. "Who are you anyway? You are frightening me, don't you see?" "I'm sorry, but I had no other choice. You have to listen to me calmly. I'll make some tea and we'll sit down and talk about everything." "Are you kidding me? What the hell kind of tea? I have to get married now. Do you realize that I have a man I love? There's a fiancé who won't understand what I'm doing. How am I going to explain all this to him?" "You're wrong, Kasyusha. You don't have a fiancé," Artem said calmly. "What do you mean, no? Kasusha slumped down on a chair. She couldn't help herself. He betrayed you, betrayed and sold. It cannot be. Oleg is not like that. He loves me. Okay, then listen to my story. And if you want, I'll take you to your Oleg. I work as a driver in a rich house, and I grew up in an orphanage. It just so happens that my own parents gave me up there. They were too busy with themselves and their drinking to give me time of their lives. So one day, after packing up my little things, they took me to AIST. You know that boarding school for kids whose parents had fallen on hard times? That's where they took me. Interestingly enough, out of all of us, only 3 of us were taken back to our families by our parents. I wasn't lucky, so I stayed there until I came of age. Artem sighed and was silent for a while. Kasusha listened without interrupting. She suddenly realized that there was something serious here, and not just some silly joke. Meanwhile, Artem went on to say that he did not like life in the orphanage, and that he often ran away from there just to wander aimlessly through the streets of the city. But he wasn't lured by luxury malls or other entertainment venues. He would go to the bedroom communities, sit down on some bench, and spend a long time looking at other people's windows, where music or laughter would come from, and the tastiest smells would come from someone's kitchens. Artem dreamed of a family and was dying of homesickness in this big city where no one wanted him. One day, wandering the city streets, Artem saw boys abusing an old man. He immediately rushed over to them and defended the old man with his fists. Artem's rage helped him win, and when the hooligans ran away, the old man warmly thanked his unexpected protector. You deftly dealt with them. What is your name? Artem. Well done, Artem. And I'm Mr. Nicholas, but now Mom will scold you for a soiled shirt. She won't. I'm an orphan, the boy sighed. Is that so? Gee, well, may I invite you to my house? The old man asked. Yes, I would love to, Artem smiled. As Artem found out, Mr. Nicholas worked in a rich house as a gardener. He lived there too, in a small, detached outhouse. The old man invited Artem to his house, gave him tea, asked him about his life, and told him to visit more often. The boy did not fail to take advantage of the invitation. He actually befriended the old man, and even fell in love with Mr. Nicholas as if he were his own grandfather. And he paid for the old man's affection with his help. They worked together in the flower beds, tidied up the yard, and removed the fallen leaves. When the stern owner once asked, "Whose child is this, and what is he doing here?" Nicholas lied, calling Artem his grandson, and asked the owner for permission for the boy to help him in the garden. The man thought about it and agreed. And since then, Artem often came to Mr. Nicholas, and sometimes even stayed overnight. One day, as usual, Artem came to his friend and saw a girl in the garden. It was the owner's daughter, Christina. She was so beautiful, so unlike the other girls he knew, that Artem immediately fell in love with her. But the boy understood that she would not want to pay him her attention and tried to keep out of her sight. Artem loved Christina as something inaccessible, sublime, as if she were from another world. Strangely enough, Mr. Nicholas did not share his adopted grandson's enthusiasm. Don't even look at this spoiled devil. I, in general, do not understand where her parents look, grumbled the old man. She is spinning them as she wants now, and what will grow out of her later? No, Artem, it will be someone else's misfortune. You'll see. Artem did not understand Mr. Nicholas, and was even angry with him. Could such a beautiful girl be bad? Of course not. The old man just didn't know how to love anymore, that's all. Time passed. Artem was still at his patron's house and never once spoke to Christina. Suddenly she came up to him herself and asked his name. Artem, always bold and perky, was confused and stammered out his own name. Oh, so you're the gardener's grandson. And how old are you? 12. How interesting. And where do you study? Artem blushed and didn't answer anything. How could he tell her that he was brought up in an orphanage? However, Christina had already lost interest in him, and, having ordered to bring fresh roses into the house, she left, adding that she had no time. She was preparing for her own birthday. A few days later, hiding in the corner of the shady garden, Artem watched the great feast that his parents had thrown for their daughter. The front lawn was filled with tables of refreshments, around which guests were strolling. Beautiful, brightly colored lanterns were hung everywhere, and the separately placed tables were bursting with gifts. There was music and laughter everywhere. As if mesmerized, Artem admired what was going on, and deep in his heart he wanted her to remember him, to come and invite him along. But did he belong with those spoiled children? With a sigh, Artem said goodbye to Mr. Nicholas and returned to his dull, dreary shelter. Several years passed. Artem finished his studies and left the orphanage, then served in the army and visited his old friend on the first day of his return. Mr. Nicholas was genuinely pleased with him, as if Artem was really his grandson. They talked for a long time about everything in the world until Nicholas slapped his hand on his forehead. "Look, did you learn to drive in the army?" "I did." "Do you have a license?" "Sure I do." "Mr. Eugene needs a driver. Want me to talk to him? Especially since he probably remembers you." "Thank you, Nicholas. You're a true friend." So Artem became a driver at Christina's house, and soon he saw her. From a little fairy she turned into a young goddess, and Artem's crush blossomed with renewed vigor. Christina, seeing Artem for the first time, raised an eyebrow. "Who the hell are you?" "I'm your father's new driver. My name is Artem. Maybe you remember me. I'm the grandson of your gardener." The girl grimaced and said in a cranky tone, "No, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I don't have to remember every gardener." Artem was not offended at her for that. He was used to forgiving for everything. But one day he, nevertheless, could not stand it, and before taking the girl home, approached her with flowers. "I know I'm poor, Christina, and your parents aren't likely to let us see each other, but I want you to know that I love you and will always be waiting for you." Christina looked at him with amazed eyes and laughed, then took the bouquet and threw it on the back seat of the car. She didn't bother to pick up the flowers at home. They were left to wilt in the car, and Artem forgave her for that. He knew it was very difficult to please a spoiled girl, and decided to just wait until she finally realized that no one would love her like he did. Christina, on the other hand, lived her life to her own satisfaction and needed no one. She was used to being worshipped, so she was very surprised when one day the guy she met at the club didn't fall on his knees in front of her. On the contrary, he behaved with her swagger and impudence, and was in no hurry to win over the windy rich girl. I don't know what she liked about him, but one day I was driving Christine home when suddenly she demanded to stop and leaned against the window. The same guy was walking down the sidewalk, and there was a girl with him. They were laughing and kissing. Christina even roared with indignation and exclaimed that she would do anything to have him as her boyfriend. And she got her way. They started dating, and you can imagine, Kasyusha, that one day she started hitting on him right in the car, not being embarrassed by my presence. Needless to say, he did not refuse her. I stopped the car and got out, but I didn't just get out, Kasyusha. I left, leaving the car on the curb. As much as I loved her, I became so disgusted with her that I shuddered. Artem, why are you telling me all this? Because that guy is your Oleg. What? Exclaimed astonished Kasyusha. Oleg? Oleg, Artem repeated. But even that's not all. A few days ago I heard them talking. Christina told Oleg that she wanted to marry him and asked what he would do. With whom would he stay? With her rich or with the poor foolish bride? Of course, with you. I love you. And I'll tell Kasyusha right now that there will be no wedding, Christina laughed. Well, no way. I've been chasing you for too long. Now you have to prove to me that you're worthy of my love. And how do you do that? Dump her in a registry office. Disgrace her. Trample her. You don't love her, so you shouldn't care. This will be my revenge on that upstart who wanted to take you away from me. I agree, Oleg said. Kasyusha will not expect anything and will wait for me in vain. But you, first buy tickets to the sea, and at the hour when she arrives at the registry office, we will fly from this city to the coast. Buy the tickets and give them to me. Christina laughed. And you are not a fool at all, it seems. I really was not mistaken about you. Here's the thing, Kasyusha, sighed Artem. I made the decision to steal you and tell everything. I didn't want you to stand there disgraced. I don't believe you, Kasyusha shook her head. Oleg couldn't do that to me. Here's your phone. Call your parents and ask if Oleg has arrived. Maybe he is running around the registry office and waiting for you. The wedding is still half an hour away, isn't it? With a trembling hand, Kasyusha dialed her father's number, and when she heard his anxious voice, she asked about Oleg. No, he's not here. I have not seen him today. Where are you, daughter? What's going on, anyway? It's okay, Daddy. I'll be right back, Kasyusha answered. She disconnected the call and gave Artem the phone. Let's go, Artem. We have to explain everything to the guests and cancel the banquet. You see, I ran after Oleg like a dog. I loved him madly and did not see what he really is. Listen, Kasyusha, maybe this is fate. What do you mean? I'm offering you my hand and heart in this house. I have nothing else to offer, but if you accept, I'll do everything to make sure you never regret it. You know, Artem, I agree, smiled Kasyusha. Only we have to hurry. Kasyusha, please, call your father. Have someone bring my old man too. Mr. Nicholas is like family to me. There is no one else on my side. My parents died a long time ago. Kasyusha smiled again and nodded. When the general surprise had passed, Kasyusha loudly announced that Oleg had changed his mind about getting married, but the wedding was not off, and she asked everyone to stay. And now, already, she became Artem's wife and was having fun with everyone, looking at her husband with special affection. Kasyusha's parents smiled. They liked their new son-in-law, a simple and ingenuous guy. And when Mr. Nicholas came up to the microphone to congratulate his favorite, everyone in the room wept, having heard the touching story of their friendship. A special thanks to you, my grandson, for the fact that today I met the most beautiful woman in the world, and I want to ask her to dance, Nicholas said. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish you to live to be our age and dance like this at your grandchildren's wedding. Having finished his speech, Nicholas came to the flushed with embarrassment and pleasure grandmother of Kasyusha, and to the general applause extended his hand to her, asking her to dance. The wedding was in full swing when Oleg entered the hall. There was complete silence all around. I thought you were crying somewhere, he said to his ex-fiancée. And you, like everyone else, quickly found a replacement for me. I thought you didn't care about me. You wanted to sunbathe on a beach in Miami, didn't you? Did Christina tell you that? She's a bitch. She lied to me. She laughed at me. She said she was just kidding around, and I believed her. I thought I'd get there in time for you. You're late, Oleg. You're late. Now go away. You're not wanted here. And maybe... Cannot, Artem came forward. Happiness cannot go to someone who once betrayed him. Go away. Oleg lowered his head and went out. He had lost everything he had, and it was unknown whether he would be able to be happy again. And, in America, Christina was sobbing. She was pregnant with Oleg's child. She realized it suddenly, and the tests confirmed her guess. How could she now marry a handsome Italian? Everything was ruined by that damned Oleg. Well, why would she do that? Why?